Yo. It's the Victory Talk podcast. We're getting started. It's springtime. The motherfucking second quarter. Time to get it in. You know what it is. Y'all thought I was going to be this. I know it's supposed to start at 7. April Fools. We starting at 7:20. Let's start the show. Let's go. Yeah. You know what it is? This that Victory Talk podcast. Episode 188. Goddamn, we've been doing this shit. My name is Big Brandon Carter, BBC, King Keto, the king of ketosis, Gymnasium Jesus, Jesus de Gimnasio para mi gente. And I'm joined by the best producer, the best podcast producer / co-host in the game, the homie Nemo.
Appreciate
What's up?
It. Super excited. Let's get it.
You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I'm also joined by Minovia. She's manning the chats. She's making sure if you say anything crazy, you get banned, shit like that, you know. And she's reading all your super chats. All your super chats, she's gonna read them. So that's what's up. Man, today's April Fool's Day. And I don't like this day because I can't believe nothing that's on the internet today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be hearing all types of shit, and I'm like, I don't know what's true and what's not. But one thing's for true, one thing's for damn sure, is this Victory Talk podcast. Y'all about to learn some real shit. It's gonna be lit. Before we got a lot we want to cover today. Help y'all get some of this fucking paper. But first, we got a few sponsors. We got to get this out the way, man. The first sponsor is the newsletter Big Money Methods, right? This is the newsletter written by me and the homies, and it accompanies the pod. So all you got to do to join, hit that link in the description, put your email in here, your best email, then hit subscribe, right? And twice a week, you're going to get sent emailed articles on methods to make big money. Big money methods. A lot of game in here. All right. Excuse me. A lot of game in here written by me, the homie Scene. He's one of our top copywriters at HTT, and the homie Chris, one of my top salespeople, man. All right. We out here. All right. Also, the next sponsor we have is Thot Repellent. This is the easy to apply spray that'll keep the hose away. It's very important. You got to keep the hose away. You see what's so here's the thing. Sometimes you meet a girl, you think that she's a good woman. You think somebody who makes a lot of sense to spend some time with. Next thing you know, you find out she a thot, man. She got nefarious intentions, right? You see what happened to Tate recently? They're trying to catch him up on another essay. Again, this is a chick in LA. Now, I think she was in LA or some shit, right? You know, I don't never believe no hoe from LA. Believe all women unless they're from Los Angeles. Don't believe all women, but like, don't ever believe a chick from Los Angeles. What she say about anything. If a bitch in Los Angeles say 70 degrees, it's a lie. All right. You know what I'm saying? If she say the sky's blue, you better check. That bitch is lying. All right. Anyway. Had he had Thot Repellent, he wouldn't have had to worry about that. I tried to get him some, but we ain't been able to link up. Anyway, you don't have to meet the same fate. All right. So we're gonna have we planned on having this out by spring break, right? But the problem is we didn't get enough. We didn't get enough super chats, guys. We didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is all funded. Thot Repellent is funded by the Victinators, right? So if we get enough super chats from you, the Victinators, then we can put this into production. But we a little short, Nima. Ain't right? We're a little short. So the goal is to have this out by summer, which is very important because that's like maiden season for Thots. Right? Like this is National Geographic, you know what I'm saying? The American Thot spreads legs often during the summer solstice. So around July, man, the Thots, man, they out here, they breeding. All right. They out there multiplying. They looking for a host. That's you, man. They looking for you. They want to fucking infiltrate your life and corrupt it. You need Thot Repellent to keep them away. It's been genetically engineered to only affect the DNA of Thots, sluts, hoes, hoe sluts, slut hoes, stank hoes. All right. Skanks, scallywags, skeezers, Jezebels. Baby, we delivered Jezebels, and hood rats. We just added that because we had a little more time to tweak the formula. We said hood rats, it works too. But the good women, they'll smell it and they'll just be like, man, you smell delicious. Right? You smell delicious. But the fucking skanks, they won't be able to get close to you, man. It'll be like a force field. It'll be impenetrable. You start spraying this all over yourself before you go outside. Right? How you think I survive in Miami? Right? I douse myself with this shit. Then I can go outside with my Richard Milles, APs, fucking diamond chains and shit. Cause that's like, it's like Thot bait when you got that shit on. Right? So it's like, man, but I got this on, I'm good. Right? I'm good. So if you want Thot Repellent to be out by summer, and we're not lying, this is a real product. It's going to be out by summer if we get enough super chats. All your super chats go towards development of Thot Repellent so we can get this out to the public. Keep you safe. Keep you safe, man. I think we have a hero who's already contributed to the fund. This is live.
I was warming up some food. We got Leo. He says, let's go.
Hey, let's classic Leo. That's classic Leo. You know what I'm saying? Let's go indeed. Hey, I'm gonna show you guys how to make some money because that's what this podcast is all about, building your money muscle mindset. So hit the like button because we're gonna talk about making some money in a segment we call Real Talk. All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can get rich. And this is the real game on how to get rich. I'm not going to sell you nothing. I'm not going to try to get you to join my webinar or no shit like that. This is 100%. I'm going to give you all the game, the real shit. And the reason I have to give it in this format, because this is not some shit I can sell because it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. If you want an easy way to get rich, if you want to get rich quick scheme, you're going to have to look somewhere else, right? If you find it, though, let me know. Like, if you find a get rich quick scheme, please notify me because I've been looking for one of these motherfuckers for, 40 years now? And I haven't found one, right? But I've seen a lot of people get rich. I've got rich, and this is exactly what I did. And I'm going to break it all down for you step by step. Now, I'm assuming that you are a broke motherfucker and you starting from nothing, right? I'm assuming that you don't have no skills, no money, no connections, maybe even no degree, right? I'm assuming you ain't got shit. You just a poor, broke bastard searching around the internet for ways to make money, and you found yourself here, all right? If you got any of those things, it's going to be a little easier for you. All right. But if you don't got them, that's cool. This is the game plan. This is what I did, and this is what you're going to do. All right. Now, this is not easy, but it works, and it will work for everyone who does it. But almost none of y'all going to do it because most people fucking suck. All right. Most people fucking suck. They're trash at everything. The average American only has $1,000 in a bank account and is 17 pounds overweight. Motherfucking fat losers, right? In the fucking greatest country of all time and during the greatest time to be alive of all time, these motherfuckers is still out here failing. And the only reason they can stay alive is because we have a social safety net. That's most of y'all. But there's few of you motherfuckers who are going to take this advice, run with it, and make some money. But it's going to take you a long time. It's going to take you some time. All right, let's get it. All right. So okay. So the first step you need to do, the first step in getting rich is you're going to start working 80 hours a week. 80 hours a week. Let me explain this. The average American makes somewhere around $60,000 a year, right? But according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the average American only fucking works about 38 hours per week, right? So we're going to fucking double that, and you should be able to double your income, right? And when I say work 80 hours a week, if you got a job, then you're going to get a second job, or you're going to start driving Uber or Uber Eats or doing deliveries or doing something, right? You shouldn't start no business if you're broke right now. You're just going to fucking work. We're going to trade time for money, because one thing broke motherfuckers have is time. I know that shit, right? And you're going to trade that for money initially. That's step one. You're going to just work as much as possible. Get as many get jobs on the weekends, part-time jobs. I wish I had the opportunities that you guys have now. I couldn't drive Uber when I was broke. When in 2007, right before the financial collapse of 2008, in the recession of 2008, my father, he blew his brains out, shot himself in the head. And I had to take care of the whole family, left us with nothing except a bunch of fucking debt and a bunch of motherfucking problems that now I have to solve, because I'm the man of the family now. I'm only 24 years old at this time. Right. And even though I had a degree, I couldn't get a fucking job. I couldn't get a good job because nobody was hiring. We had record unemployment. Right. If you look up what happened in 2008, some of y'all too young to even fucking comprehend this shit. But companies were going out of business. It was the worst recession since the Great Depression. All right. So instead of being a fucking punk and crying, oh, it's a recession, I'm fucking from the hood, I'm black, and I got a fucking dead daddy. Instead of crying and shit, I just fucking worked, right? So I waking up at 4 a.m. I was training people in the morning. Then I showered at the gym, worked security at the Prada store for 8 hours, right? And then after that, I worked for a moving company, right? And that was 5 days a week. And on the weekends, I woke up early, trained people. And then I was the weekend manager of a barbecue restaurant in Queens on Steinway Street. And I did that shit for fucking years. This was fucking between 12, 14 hours a week. I'm sorry, a day. Between 12 and 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for like 2 years. Because I refuse to fucking be broke. And that's what you guys need to do, right? If you're fucking broke and you ain't got no skills, no connection, no money, but you do got time, you need to invest all that time in the fucking coming up. All right, you got to get fucking aggressive, right? Get real aggressive. That's the first step. We're going to work more. Now, how do you have enough time to work more, still sleep, still work out? We're going to cover that later. And I'm going to cover, and don't worry, you won't be trading time for money forever. We're going to explain how you can get out of that later in the video. See what I did? That was for you. All right. The reason we want to start working more is because the formula, write this fucking down. The formula to getting rich is you make more money than you spend and invest the difference. If you do that over a long enough period of time, you will get rich. It's guaranteed. All right. Make more money than you spend and invest the difference. For example, if you were to invest $2,000 every month into the S&P 500, which has an annual return of around 10%, after 20 years, you'd have $1.3 million. Right now, if you wanted to get that $1 million faster, then you have to either put in more money every month and or pick a vehicle that gives you a higher return. Because the S&P 500 is pretty fucking conservative, right? It's like the lazy ass way to invest. But it's almost guaranteed. It's the closest thing to a guaranteed return you're going to get, right? Now, we'll talk about some different ways later in this video of how to get better returns off your investment. But initially, the first thing you need to do before we even get there is you have to make more money than you spend. So you're going to be working 80 hours a week. So you're doubling your work, right? I'm assuming you're an average motherfucker, right? And the average person is working about 38 hours per week, right? So you're going to work double that. You should be able to double your income, or maybe even more, right? Maybe even more, double your income. Because those 2 years that I was working 14 hours a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, I made over 100 grand every year working fucking those blue collarish ass jobs, right? Doing regular shit, labor in some cases, like for the moving company, right? You should be able to double your income. All right. Or maybe even more. Right. The key is to not raise your expenses. Now's not the time to start buying fucking diamonds and APs and shit. Right. You still a broke boy. You just making some money. You don't want to. We ain't out here trying to be hood rich. Right. We ain't out here trying to be nigger rich. All right. We're trying to get some real fucking dough. All right. So we're going to be investing that money. But you have to make sure you do not increase your standard of living. If anything, we need to lower expenses. Right? We need to lower expenses. And the way you do so the next thing you have to do is start tracking every dollar you spend. Right? So we used to use if you watch videos from me from like fucking 10, 12 years ago, I used to talk about tracking every dollar I spend in mint.com. That shit went out of business, right? So now I use this shit called Monarch to track my expenses. They do not sponsor me. I don't get no kickback. They don't pay me no money to shout them out. It's just the best I can find. However, I will take the fucking money if you goddamn nerds are listening. I done shouted you out. It's like 10 fucking videos now. The way I look at it, you motherfuckers owe me some motherfucking money. And I'm going to come collect. God damn it. Who knows how much goddamn business I sent you motherfuckers. You haven't reached out to me once. Even fucking G-Shock gave me some free watches for shouting them out. And you tech nerds ain't get... The clock is ticking, motherfucker. Anyway, you'll start tracking every dollar you spend. You can hook up all your accounts to it, all your credit cards, all your debit cards, investment accounts. You hook up everything, and what it does is you take every transaction.
They went out of business probably. They didn't track their own dollars.
You want to. You're going to track every transaction. And what you're going to do is you're going to start tracking your spending, right? Most motherfuckers don't be knowing how much they spend, right? You want to track your spending and make a game out of lowering it. So you want to cut all unnecessary spending. All unnecessary spending needs to get cut. Any subscriptions you have, you don't need, motherfucking Netflix, Xbox Game Pass, fucking Pornhub Premium, whatever the fuck you got going on. Cancel that shit if you don't need it. All right. We want to lower expenses. All right. Cancel them motherfucking OnlyFans memberships, all that shit you got. Nima, and do they have OnlyFans in motherfucking Iran?
It's the same OnlyFans. You just gotta use these proxies and VPNs.
Oh, I was thinking it would be like chicks with like the fucking shit on their head, and you might see some wrist. You might see the chicks. Yeah, they just showing their little wrists. Maybe they show a little ankle. You know what I'm saying? Zoom in on the eyeball. That's what I was assuming. All right. Cancel that shit. All right. Now, check this out. We doubled our output. All right, we're making more money, but right now we're still only trading fucking time for money. All right. Remember the formula. This is the fucking baller formula. Make more money than you spend, invest the difference. That's it. That is the baller formula. Shout out to you, Dillion. You hear that, Monarch? You hear that, you bitch ass niggas? Anyway. And you should be able to double your income, right? Now check this out. Here's the next step. The next step is you have to save 6 months of expenses, right? It should take you 6 months or less. 6 months expenses. The reason you want that motherfucking safety net to deploy against the shit we about to do, right? Because I'm really about to give you some game, all right? And it should only take like 6 months, fucking half a year. That ain't no time. It sounds like forever for you, but that ain't no time, right? It takes a baby longer than that to get born, right? So 6 months, you should have enough savings, right? Do not upgrade your lifestyle, motherfucker. Don't buy no new shit. In fact, you should be selling shit, all right? And after you have 6 months of savings, now it's time to start investing, right? You're going to keep working 80 hours a week, right? And you're going to use that extra income to invest in some sort of skill that will help you get out of time for money, right? So you want to invest yourself in some sort of skill that can shift you from making money from your time to making money for your results. You know what I'm saying? And it could be anything that you're interested in. I can't tell you what fucking industry to go in or what, right? But this is going to be either a job or a business that's results based instead of time based. If you're starting your businesses in general, it's time based. Any business you start is going to, any business you start is going to be results based. All right. But you can also get jobs that are results based. Right. Like you can like for example, sales or something like that. If you're doing sales, you get paid commission, right? And that's results based because we need to get out of time for money. Because when you're exchanging time for money, there's a limit on how much money you can make because there's only so many hours in each day. But results, when I pay somebody for results, I don't really give a fuck how long it took them to get it, right? As long as I get it. For example, Nima, he edits the videos. He's an independent contractor. He got his own video production shit. And I'm like, yo, edit the videos, homie. You know what I'm saying? And then he starts explaining to me, oh, so I'm gonna do that. I'm like, hey, man, stop. I don't care how it happens. Just edit it. I don't care if it takes them fucking 5 minutes or 5 days, right? As long as I get the shit, you know. So he's able to have leverage, right? Because he's got a team now, and he's got other people doing shit, making thumbnails, and I don't even know these niggas, and I don't want to know them. Hey, you editing this video? I hope we never meet. Just don't fuck my shit up. I don't know your name. I don't know where you live. And God willing, I'll never know. But Nima, because it's not important to me. The report is the results. And Nima's, because he's paid by results, right? So he's in leverage, right? And I don't even care. I don't care if he does anything, as long as I get what I fucking need. You know what I'm saying? So you need to move into something. We're gonna move into something that's results based. But remember, I'm assuming your goofy ass ain't have no fucking skills, connections, education, right? So, well, after you have 6 months of savings, you need to immediately start investing into your skill set. Some sort of skill set that can get you in a results-based business. You know, sales, video editing, buying ads, fucking coding or some shit. I don't know. Coding, that's motherfuckers ain't probably gonna be doing that in 10 years. Maybe don't go there. The robots are coming for that shit first. I digress. Right. Immediately start building your skills, right? Into something, so you can move into an industry, either a job or a business, where you can start exchanging results for money instead of time for money. This is very important because, for example, my sales team, they pretty much work the same amount of hours. Some get paid more because they get better results, right? So it's results based. There's no fucking ceiling on how much money they can make because they just get paid by results, right? Like I was talking to him today, my sales team, and I had them set their goals for how much money they wanted to make, you know, and then one said 20, I want to make 20,000. Another one said 30,000. Another one was like 40,000. I'm like, yeah. I would love to pay you motherfuckers 40,000 this month. I would love to pay you motherfuckers 100,000, right? Because it's results based. If I'm able to pay them that much, that means they made a whole bunch more for the business. If that makes sense, right? And sometimes a job that's results based is better than having your own business. The reason it can be depending on the person, right? Because if you have your own business, you have to do all the marketing. You have to do, you're responsible for the product or service, delivering the product or service. You're responsible for the customer service. You're responsible for the sales. You're really responsible for everything, right? If you have something like a sales job, you're only responsible for one thing, right? But you have like all the upside of entrepreneurship. Like my sales guys can pretty much make their own schedule, pretty much within some parameters, right? They can make their own schedules. They can, and they can call their own shots. They can make, there's no cap on how much money they can make, right? But they only have to do one thing. I have to do all the other shit. You know what I'm saying? I have to be in charge of all the other shit. And that's what it's like for an entrepreneur. So sometimes, you know, I can see the benefit of having the upside without having all the responsibility, right? So you have those two paths. You can either move into a job that's results based, or you move into a business, which is, you know, any entrepreneurial endeavor is 100% results based, right? You're not going to get paid for your time. All right. Now, here's the thing. You want to start investing in that skill set, spending the money that you make in that skill set. That means courses. That means books. That means hiring mentors. I do mentor, full disclosure, I fucking mentor people. I've helped people make a lot of money. I'm not trying to sell you the mentorship, right? I'm just trying to sell you on the idea, because I would not be where I am without the mentor. Soon, this is what I was doing. Like when I was working all those jobs and I started my business, I still had to learn shit, right? I had to fucking invest in the business at first, right? So I had to learn video editing. You know, my first business was online training. And I was like, fuck, I don't know how to do this. I had to learn video editing. So I had to buy courses on how to edit videos, right? I didn't have enough money for a good computer at the time. So I had to fucking learn how to make computers. I had to build a computer. And then we didn't have ClickFunnels and Shopify and all this shit back then. So I had to take courses on how to fucking build. I take courses and classes on how to build websites. I had to build my first website. I was coding that shit with HTML. You get what I'm saying? And then when I finally started making some progress, I actually hired mentors. One of my first mentors was a dude named Elliot Holtz. He was one of the first fitness YouTubers who wasn't a fucking dork to get to 1 million subscribers. And he was fucking half black and from the hood. So like I related to him. And I paid him to mentor me. Then I paid his business partners to mentor me too, right? So I'm a big believer in mentorship. It shortens your learning curve, right? Because experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience, right? Experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience, all right? So you want to start investing in yourself, right? Now, and you can do this as you start your business or as you start moving into the job, right? The results-based job. Now, you still keep your other job. So you might be working fucking more than 80 hours a week, right? Because here's what I did. I was working 80-ish hours a week, sometimes more, at my other jobs while I was starting my business on the side, right? And you may be thinking, how the fuck did you do that? Did you sleep? Did you do it? Were you able to work out? I don't want to sacrifice my health, right? I don't want to sacrifice my family. Well, I didn't. First of all, the whole family shit, right? Like if you poor, what the fuck was you doing having a family? Like getting people pregnant and shit. You shouldn't have been doing that, right? That's. I'm assuming you don't have a fucking family. And like a lot of times, young guys, they say some shit like, "Oh man, don't sacrifice family." Like, and they ain't even have kids. Like, you want to spend time with mommy? Is that what the fuck you talking about? Listen, you spent too much time with your mommy already. That's why you sound like a bitch right now, right? You need to go out and make some of yourself. It's time to leave the nest, you bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Cut it out, right? If you got kids, it's going to be more difficult for you. I would have told you not to have those kids until you were financially stable. But we are where we are, right? But here's what you do. In order to have enough time to do all this shit, you're not going to sacrifice your health. You're going to sacrifice almost everything else. All right. So you're going to start really planning every hour and every day in your calendar. And I started doing this. I was using Google Calendar. That's what I use now still to this day. And I plan out every hour of every day. So most people waste way more time than they think. There's 168 hours in every week, right? You can still sleep 8 hours a night, right? That's 56 hours per week. And you still got 112 hours left, right? If you work 80 hours, boom, you still got like 30. What's that? 32? I'm doing the math in my head, but Neima's Asian, so I figured he could do it in his head. But it's sand Asia. It's a little different. I know the 112 was right. And then 112 minus 80. That's 32, right? Yeah, okay. Just I had to check with an Asian. Yeah. Because black math is different than Asian math. You want to check your black math with your Asian math. That's how you. And sand Asian is different from me, but I figure like the proximity. Sand Asia. That's not racist. That's not racist. It's on the line. It's like.
It's more of a compliment.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's the continent of Asia, but it's sand there. Sand Asia versus motherfucking versus martial arts Asia. Is that racist? I don't think that's racist. That's where martial arts comes from, right? From regular Asia.
Regular Asia.
Sand Asia and regular Asia. Anyway, I don't think it's racist, but I can see how somebody might throw a flag. They might have to review that one. I digress. Still 32 hours fucking left, right? Most people are squandering that shit, right? And I know, you got to use the bathroom. You got to fucking eat food and shit, man. But shut the fuck up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, shut the fuck up. 32 hours, you can fucking make some progress. I know, because I fucking did this shit, man. I'm not making this shit up. Again, I didn't have kids at the time, right? So it's gonna be more difficult if you have a bunch of kids, because you got to do shit with the kids. But I had no kids. You know what I'm saying? But if I promise you, if you start planning every hour of every day in your calendar, your day's choreographed, I promise you, you will be amazed at how much extra time you have. And you'll really notice how much time you wasted, right? We want to start deploying that time against our goals. And we're not going to sacrifice our health. If you got a family, don't sacrifice your family. The one thing we will sacrifice is all the other shit. Because during this time, what I wasn't doing was motherfucking bullshitting, going to parties, chasing hoes. I wasn't watching sports, watching fucking Netflix. Netflix was delivering DVDs back then. I'm old, right? But I wasn't like watching TV. I wasn't going on vacation. I wasn't going out to the club. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't smoking weed, smoking dope, playing video games, whatever you motherfuckers do, right? I didn't have no money. All I had was time and energy, and I deployed all of it against my goals, right? And that's what you got to do, right? So now if you pick the rope to have a job, it might be a little easier. Maybe you'll keep your other job, your main job, just bring you income. And if you get a job in sales or something like that, some of the results based, then you'll deploy the other time against that. But you still, listen, 80 hours is the minimum you should be working if you're trying to get rich. Is the minimum. All that 40 hours a week shit, that shit is cool if you don't want to be rich, right? If you just want a fucking balanced life, you will just be a regular nigga doing regular shit until you die, then 40 hours a week is what you should do, because that's what the average person does. But if you do what the average person does, you're going to get the average person results. Remember, the average American has less than $1,000 in their bank account, right? If you want to be like them, then do what they do. Just work 40 hours a week, right? But I ain't never seen nobody get rich. Nobody who's self-made get rich off of 40 hours a week. I never seen it. Even the fucking pro athletes I know, they fucking work more than that. You get what I'm saying? Like LeBron James is working more than that. Right? He's doing fucking podcasts. He's motherfucking in the gym. He's investing $1 million a year on his body or whatever the fuck he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He's training with the fucking trainers he's training with the team. Then he got his own trainers and shit. Even the motherfucking recording, even the fucking, even like the entertainers I know, they work more than 40 hours a week, except for the rappers. That's the only rappers can get away with bullshit. But if you get a fucking record deal as a rapper, you kind of hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to count that. Okay, take that. Hey, whoever's editing this, I don't know you. Don't want to know you. Just take that part out. All right. About the I'm fucking with you. I'm sure you a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Or girl. I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Or maybe you fucking suck. I don't know, man. And you just good at editing. I don't know shit about you. Anyway. Even the fucking entertainers I know work more than fucking 80 hours a week. Work more than 40 hours a week. Even the entertainers I know work more than that. You know? I ain't never seen nobody get rich off just 40 hours a week. Like, I just never seen it. That shit don't even happen in the movies. Like, we ain't never seen a movie about a motherfucker working 40 hours a week and then he gets rich and famous. That shit don't even happen in Hollywood, right? So if you only want to work 40 hours a week, that's cool. Just you should have stopped watching this video, homie. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, here's why. Now, remember the baller formula. Make more money than you spend and invest the difference. Right? We're going to keep investing in our business and or education, right? I still spend like close to $100,000 a year on my education, different masterminds. I still buy courses, go through them if I want to learn some shit. I still buy books. I fucking read more books than this. Like I'm still investing in my education, because the more you learn, the more you sperm, or whatever Ty Lopez was saying, right? And then, but you want to invest in the business. Once you get the business started, you want to keep investing in the business because it's going to get the most returns. All right. For example, when I finally went full time, okay, you want to keep investing in the business, right? And you don't want to go full time into your business until you have two things. One, you got to have 2 months of savings. I'm sorry, you got to have 6 months of savings put aside. Boom. That's going to be your safety net. Shit hits the fan. You got 6 months to figure it out. Right. And the reason you want to have that because you want to have more, it's going to give you more bravery. You'll be able to take more risk. Right. And you'll be able to take those risks confidently because you know, hey, man, I can always fall back on this. Right. And the second requirement you got to meet is your side hustle or business needs to be making as much as your job. Right. So for example, for me, I had like 4 different jobs, like I told you before, and I was starting my online fitness business. Once I had the 6 months of savings like early, and then once I had enough money, once my business was making enough money to replace one of the jobs, I stopped that. The first one was the moving company because that was like fucking difficult, full body workouts every day, fucking lifting shit and moving people in and out of houses, right? And then I was able to. I didn't work less though. That time I was spending at the moving company, I put into my business, right? So now I'm putting more money into the business, and it became more lucrative, right? Then I was able to quit working security I was working security at the product store. It was serendipitous because luckily I got fired at the same time I was ready to quit. But I got fired because, it was a good decision. They fired me because I wasn't really good. I wasn't a good security guard. I didn't guard anything or keep anyone secure. I was just there opening the door for motherfucking shit and closing it. And if somebody stole something, I'm like, yeah, they got us, guys. we got to do better. Right. I didn't give a fuck. Anyway, they fired me. They made a good decision. Love the company. Anyway, but it was at the time when I was ready to quit anyway because my business was making more money, right? And I still kept my weekend job and I still trained people. And then basically I just kept, as the business made more money, I was able to quit another job, right? So your business has to replace the income from the job. But then you don't stop working. You don't start working less. No, you still work 80 hours a week. You just put all that into your business so it keeps becoming more lucrative, right? And then at the same time, you're investing money into it. All right, that's the thing. All right, now, remember the baller formula. Make more money than you spend and invest the difference. All right. The very first investments you're going to make is into your business. And the reason why is because it's going to give you the highest return. For example, when I was building my business, I was not investing in fucking stock market, crypto, real estate, none of that shit. Right. Because I knew I could look at I learned Facebook ads. That was another skill I had to learn, right? Because remember, I kept learning new skills, and Facebook ads was one of the skills I learned. And I would look at my account and like, oh man, I'm getting 2-3x returns on my ad spend. I should just keep putting the money there. What? Like, I'm not gonna fucking double, triple my money in fucking crypto in a month or real estate in a month. I'm gonna keep putting here. So business will always give you the highest returns. However, it's the riskiest, right? As a general rule, higher returns equal higher risk, right? Ask anybody who made money off of a meme coin. If you can find one of these motherfuckers, right? They exist, but you probably don't know them, right? Because all the motherfuckers you know invested in meme coin probably lost the shit. They provided the liquidity for the motherfuckers who made it. They provided the rug for the rug pullers to pull, right? So the higher the return, almost always the higher the risk, right? So because business has a high return, it's riskiest, right? It's the riskiest. And that's why it's important to keep learning, keep building your skill set so you become better at it, right? You got to keep getting better all the time because business keeps changing. Competitors are aggressive. And you want to be as formidable as you can, right? And you want to always keep improving, learning more. So keep investing in business, keep investing in education, right? Now, here's the thing. You got to understand Now, when do you start investing in stocks and real estate and all that shit? You can invest in stocks whenever you want, right? But when you start putting like big money in it, right? Stocks and real estate, this is when, if you had a job, you can do that immediately. If you picked a results-based job, then you can do that immediately. If you picked a business, then I think you're going to get the best returns in your business. That's what I noticed. However, even though I said I was getting 2-3x returns, I couldn't just keep pumping money into it, right? Because there's scaling limitations. So anybody who runs ads know if you fucking pump the budget up too aggressively, too fast, the ads become less profitable. It like breaks it all the time. So that's one thing. But also, even if I could properly run up the ads, there's still supply chain issues. For example, I had first one was my online fitness company. Then I started a supplement line, right? And for the supplement line, the ads would work. However, we had to make sure we had enough inventory, right? We can't make sales and we don't have the fucking product, and the product costs money. And then it takes time for that shit to get manufactured. And then so the margins of work, you have to spend a shitload of money to buy a whole bunch of product. So the price goes down. You know what I'm saying? Dope boys know what I'm talking about. Like the more you buy, the more you buy, right? The more you know what I'm saying? The more profitable it is when you break it down, step on it and sell it, right? And I applied that same logic when I was selling a different kind of powder, protein powder. I was moving that powder, pre-workout powder, right? I had to buy a whole shitload, right? So these are supply chain issues, right? And then also, as you scale, you got to build your team. You can't outscale your team. So it's just, you can't just infinitely pump money in. So I got to the point where I couldn't put as much money as I wanted to into the business because we just had supply chain issues, right? And scaling limitations. And that's when I really started diversifying my income. Diversifying my portfolio. That's when I started really investing in the stocks and real estate. All right. Again, we have not gotten to the point where we increase our living expenses. We still keep our living expenses as low as possible, even at this point when the business is successfully running. Because the luxuries don't get bought from money we make working. It comes from our passive income, not our earned income. Earned income is money you make fucking working, grinding. Passive income is money you make from investments like stocks and real estate or even fucking crypto, whatever. All right. So once you've kind of hit the ceiling of how much you can spend on your business, then you start diversifying, right? You can do that earlier if you just have a job, right? You can start doing that today if you just got a job that's results based. You still want to invest in your education, still learn, so you can outwork everybody at the job, or you can move to maybe a better company, whatever. Are you still investing in your skill set? But you can start investing earlier. If you got a business, you're going to get the best return on your business, right? So then we start investing into real estate and stocks, and then you use the profits from your real estate and stocks to fund your lifestyle. That's when I really started increasing my standard of living. It wasn't until I was a fucking millionaire. And I said, a multi-millionaire, when I started, okay, let me start buying nice watches, fucking jewelry, designer shit, sitting, going to fucking basketball games at the court side and shit like that, right? But I was doing that with the money I made from my investments and not the earned income, right? Because you want to think of every fucking dollar. If you're trying to get rich, you want to think of every dollar as ammo in the war that you're waging against poverty, right? And you don't want to waste the bullets prematurely. You get what I'm saying? Like if you waste the fucking bullets, then you won't have enough ammo to shoot down poverty, to shoot poverty in the face. You get what I'm saying? It's like a seed. The first nigga to ever start balling was like a caveman or some shit who decided to plant the seed instead of eating it, right? He delayed the gratification. Niggas probably thought he was crazy. He's like, yo, man, you putting the seed, and he was eating seeds. Hey, bang. look at this motherfucker putting the seeds in the ground. Fuck wrong with you, man? You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, nah, man, I'm gonna plant these seeds, and next thing you know, I'm gonna have trees, you know, and these trees gonna bear fruits. That's how I'm gonna feed my family off these fruits. All right, nigga. All right, whatever, man. We gonna go hunt and gather some more, right? And they kept hunting and gathering. This motherfucker started agriculture. He delayed, instead of eating the seeds, he delayed gratification, and he invented agriculture, right? And because of that motherfucker, we were able to build fucking cities and civilizations. We didn't have to fucking hunt and gather everything. You got to do the same shit with your money. You know, you want to look at that money, plant that seed somewhere, and then you live off the fruits of that seed. But if you fucking eat the seeds, you're going to stay broke. All right. And that's how I made my first million, right? You got to stay disciplined, right? Make more money you spend, invest the difference. And that's the game plan. That's the structure of the investments, right? And here's the thing, though. This is the part that's going to piss you off. It's going to take about 10 years, right? I don't know exactly when I became a millionaire. I know it was my early 30s. So somewhere between like 8-10 years, somewhere in that. It wasn't 10 years because I remember being 34. So I think it was around 8 years. 8 years of working 80 hours a week, making more money I spend and invest the difference, right? Coming from like the fucking bottom, right out the recession. Fucking dad just shot himself in the fucking head and shit. Had to take care of the whole family. And I did it, right? But it was just consistent work. 80 hours a week, 10 years. Keep expenses low, make more money you spend, and invest the difference. Now, when motherfuckers see me with all the shit, they don't know, man. It took fucking 10 years of planting the seeds. And then this is the harvest of that shit. You get what I'm saying? And that was like a long time ago. That was like 10 years ago when I made my first million. You know what I'm saying? That's the key. You know, that's the key. 80 hours a week. Stay consistent. Live below your means. You will get rich. You will get rich. Even if you wanted to take the slow route, $2,000 a month S&P 500, you'll have $1.3 million in 20 years. All right, that's the slow route. You want to speed it up? You make more money. You know, $2,000 is fucking light work. You should have way more than $2,000 if you working 80 hours a week, right? And then your own, and then and then to have an investment vehicle that gets a higher return is your own business. Your own business. That's going to be the highest rate of return, right? If my first business was online training, right? And now I teach people how to start their online fitness business. I've taught over 15,000 people how to build successful full-time online fitness businesses. I've only got about 10 students who got to the point where their fitness business is making over $1 million a year out of the 15, right? But there's like thousands who have got into over 6 figures per year, right? If you want to learn more about how to start your own online fitness business, I got a free ebook called The 10 Commandments of Online Training, right? It's 100% free, and it'll really break down what it looks like to be an online trainer. And you see if it's right for you, because you may read and be like, shit, I don't want to do this shit. I'm looking for the get rich quick scheme. You know, again, if you find that, let me know, right? Because this ain't it. But if you love fitness, if you love helping people accomplish their goals, you might find it really rewarding. Like it didn't feel like work to me. It still doesn't feel like work to me because I enjoy fitness and I enjoy helping people make transformations. If that sounds like a business you can get excited about, download the ebook and learn more about it. All right. Yo, we got a lot of super chats, but before we get into them, we got the homie Young Candlestick with the market update.
What's up?
Yo, Young Candlestick. Yo, if you leave the super chat, I'm gonna get to all your super chats after the market update. But also, if you want to ask Greg, you know, the fucking stock market expert, about any stocks, cryptos, meme coins, you know what I'm saying? You want to know about fart coin or some shit?
Lay it on me.
Yeah, pause. You can leave a super chat for Greg too. All right, yo, what's up, homie? What we talking about?
Basically, we're going to talk about some breaking news today. Warren Buffett acquires Elon Musk's Tesla for $1 trillion.
Whoa, he bought Tesla?
He bought Tesla.
When did this happen?
He literally said, while I've publicly maintained that I don't understand tech companies, I've secretly been driving a Cybertruck around my Nebraska neighborhood at night.
Whoa, holy shit. Warren Buffett bought Tesla. When did this happen?
On April 1st, April Fool's Day.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
you're fucking with me. Okay, my fault, man.
I got my shit.
I hate this day. You can't believe nothing. This is the worst day of the year.
I got you.
This and my birthday are the days I hate most. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, somebody had to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
you
get
got
back
me.
into the
You
market.
fucking got me, bro.
That was good. That was good.
You got me, and you will be punished for that.
Punished
I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you when, or I'm not gonna tell you how. It might not be. Might be this week. Might not be this month. Not be this year. But like one day,
I accept
some
my
fucking
fate.
foul shit's gonna happen. You might be a decade from now. And then
Miami streets.
how did this happen? Oh my god, my life is ruined. Fucking Brandon. Yep.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that.
I will.
Go
I
ahead.
accept my fate.
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
worth
you made
it.
your bet.
It was worth it. All right, so back to the real market. S&P 500 up about 0.25%. We've had a ton of volatility, basically just to go nowhere. You know, it's kind of like watching Beast games, but nobody gets eliminated. Bulls don't get eliminated. Bears don't get eliminated. We're just all over the place. And on Thursday, I noted this light blue box. I said, if we break this blue box to the downside, look for a retest of the lows. That's exactly what we got. Now, on the S&P 500, we undercut the lows, but we closed the day above the lows. That's kind of like a jab or like a liquidity sweep. So for now, the lows are still in, and I am leaning neutral / bullish. But if we come back into this blue box zone, that's a former breakdown area. That can be an area of supply. So the market is not out of the woods just yet. And basically, we need to look at the leading indicators, the leading markets. IWM, still not going anywhere. So we need the Russell 2000 to lead the charge to the upside to confirm a bull market. We look at the transports, IYT. So IYT is the transportation index. That was down today, so it's not leading. You know, we can take a look at semiconductors. They're just up a bit on the day, but they're still really, really weak. However, Bitcoin is actually doing okay, at least for today. I still have a yellow flag on Bitcoin, but basically Bitcoin's kind of like allergic to this 100K level. Like it just doesn't want to really stay above it. And so if we get IBIT, this is the
you know why, right? Because they've been talking about that shit since the beginning, right? So that's when a lot of people was probably going to cash out.
Seriously. Oh yeah. If everybody's talking about it, people are going to.
And they've been talking about it for like a decade, like 100K.
It hit it, and then
So
there's
a
just
lot of
a
people
bunch of
just
sell
cashed
orders.
out.
Yep. That's what we call a distribution period, where you kind of consolidate in this like range, and then it breaks that range to the downside. That's a distribution. So this area still is supply, but if Bitcoin can hold this like higher low pivot, whatever you want to call it, that is a bullish leading indicator for the overall stock market. So set some price alerts on IBIT like 50.50, 50.60. If it can hold this higher low trend, that would be bullish for the stock market. We still need to wait for confirmation though. Right now, a lot of the defensive sectors are in rotation and bonds are in rotation. So this is TLT. This is the 20-year Treasury bond ETF. This is a relatively safe place to park your money.
You get like
AGG.
4% off them bonds, right?
Yep. Get them 4% off the bonds. Get your 4% off of AGG. This is the aggregate bond ETF. You can do SCHO. This is another bond ETF. Great place to park your money. BIL. This is where you can park your money in treasury bills.
Diversify your bonds.
I know, right? So bonds are it's just a place to park your cash. It's pretty similar to a money market fund or a high interest savings account. But, you know, defensive sectors like XLE, the energy sector, are outperforming. XLE is the #1 performing sector year to date in the S&P 500.
You know, I be talking about XLE all the time. You know, that's a big Brandon Carter stock.
It is. And it's a good
ETF.
one to hold. You know, it's a basket of energy stocks, and you get a guaranteed 3% a year just to hold on to this.
Come on, man.
This has stocks like Chevron, CVX. That's starting to break out. It's got
Chevron.
XOM. You know, we got energy.
XLE.
Yeah, XLE.
I'm sorry. ET.
Yep, ET. ET is in XLE. That's doing okay. It's not doing bad. It's not doing bad. It's not doing good. It did retest the former breakout area and held. You know, XLU, the utility sector, that's doing all right. That's just kind of holding up. I've been talking about that for a while. And then SCHD, this is the Schwab dividend ETF. This is holding its ground. You know, it's just doing its thing. It's going sideways. It's probably not going to go to the moon. I wouldn't expect large returns for stocks this year. The real money has really kind of been being made in day trading, like day trading futures, day trading SPX credit spreads.
How'd y'all do today when I left, man?
What?
Doesn't know we got something called victory trades, right? That's if you want to trade. We have a free Discord called Victory Unit. You should join that. We get free trading advice. I have some free courses in there. I got a free fat loss course, help you get in shape for fucking summertime, right? Or any other time, right? It's a free fat loss course. I used to sell for $200. You get it for free. And then I have a baller mindset course in there. Right? A lot of shit we be talking about. You know, baller mindset course. That shit is hands down one of the best investments of time you'll ever make. It's free too, right? But Greg's in there giving free trading advice. However, we do have a trading community, right? Where you get Greg's free trade. You get Greg's trade. It's not free, but you get Greg's trading alerts, and you can trade the market with us live every morning, right?
You crushed it this morning. You crushed it this morning.
Fucking killed that shit.
You were on top of it. I was
done in like 15 minutes, man.
Yeah, no, you made your money and got out, got back to work. That's how it should be. You know, like make your money quick in the stock market, get back to your business,
we trade live,
back to your job. You know?
Yeah. So if you want to join that, go to Discord, hit up Greg, Young Candlestick, say, yo, I want to join Victory Trades and help put you in the right direction. You know? But anyway, how did y'all do this morning after I left? Because I was fucking out.
Oh yeah, it went wild after you left. But I kept
the chart up. I was looking at it. I was like, fuck, I wonder how they doing.
I know, right? Oh yeah, we did pretty well. We alerted this SPX Iron Condor. Basically, you make $110 profit if it stays within the box. Now, I didn't get the max profit. I just took some small profits because I was thinking that the market could break the low of the day, but it didn't. Yeah. It held. So those that decided to hold got the entire max profit. But it was a really good day trading day. I'm excited to day trade further. These credit spreads are really good for just active income. So sometimes when the market isn't giving really good long-term returns or good swing trading returns, you've got to have a playbook. And I definitely have a really diverse playbook. And when it comes down to day trading, this is my main strategy. I will also note there is no other chartered market technician in the world that trades live. I don't know if there's any other place.
Only Greg, man.
You're gonna get that.
When I do it, I only trade futures. I only trade NQ futures, right? The NASDAQ futures. But Greg trades everything. We do it live every morning, man. So if you want to fuck with us, you should do it. It's dope.
Yeah.
But Greg's trading everything, and I'm just doing.
We're calling out support, resistance points, entry points. Not every trade you can follow when it comes to day trading, just because the markets move so fast. Like sometimes within a single minute on NQ, that's like $500 profit or loss in a single minute. So during volatile times when the VIX is high, this is our volatility and fear index. Generally, anything over 20 is considered a high volatility environment, meaning lots of ranges. Lots of money to be made in both directions. That's the time where you can really day trade well, and you want to size down. So like you can trade MNQ, which is 1/10 the size of the mini NQ. So that's something to consider. When we are looking at the market, where are, let's talk about,
let's get back to the stocks.
Yeah. So gold, we took profits on gold pretty much at all-time highs, like literally within cents of that. We've been talking about this.
When did you call out gold, man? Talk some shit, Greg. First
of all, we've been talking about gold for multiple years, especially down here. Since then, gold is up 18%. But we talked about it on the podcast right here at 276 GLD. We even showed an options trade where you could turn $449 into $3,000. And if you want to, you can always size up. You know, you can put in, you can do 10 of those, you can do 5 of those, 2 of those.
Yeah.
We took profits on that, $449.
Come on.
Turned into about $670.
Come on.
Really right up there. So, you know, just the past few alerts, just the past 5 alerts of victory trades, you would have paid for half a year of the victory trades membership.
Let's do it.
Smallest size. So that's pretty cool. So gold, look for dips. So what's next for gold? Just let it get oversold. If it gets oversold, then I'm going to be accumulating gold again. For now, I'm just going to let it sit. You know, gold isn't like the best asset class. A big argument that people make against gold is that it doesn't cash flow, but you can always wheel it. You can always
sell calls against your position.
Yeah,
you know,
you can always do that. There's so many ways. You can do GLDI. This is the income version of gold. Every time it pays the dividend, the stock drops by that amount, but it does cash flow. You know, the GDX, the gold miners, they pay a dividend. That's cash flow. It's not a super high dividend, but you can combine the dividend with the wheel strategy. All you need is $4,500, and you could be making an extra $20 a week. Nothing crazy, but you know, it can add up over time. GDX, look for a dip buy at around 42.50.
Okay.
Last time on the Victory Talk podcast, I mentioned the number one trade idea was AMAT puts, AMAT bearish. And I said the stock is likely going to drop 10%. Since that point, the stock dropped 9.5%. So not exactly 10%, but pretty close. So that was a nice, good winning trade alert. That's pretty cool. Lastly, I want to mention some value plays. Now, these probably downtrend for 2025. But I think it's worth accumulating right now. Microsoft is one of them. Fair value,
I'm a big fan.
Fair value is $490 per share. That represents a 30% upside. The thing is at this point in time, Microsoft is, you know, the technical chart's not really confirming the uptrend, of course, but this is a value play. This is like strictly fundamental. Microsoft I like because you get the dividends and it's probably not going to go bankrupt. So that's something to dollar cost average into. Google, fair value of $230 per share. I bought about $3,000 of Google yesterday.
Shit.
Yeah. So
Stop playing with him. Talk your shit, Greg.
It's not too much. It's not like a baller amount or anything, but it's a decent amount. It's a decent amount for me.
Yeah.
You know, Google's fair value is $230 per share. That represents a 45% potential upside. So those are some value plays to potentially consider.
What about Meta?
Meta, you know, I like Meta too. Meta's fair value. I forget the exact number, but I believe it's close to about $700 per share. So Meta,
I like this spot right now. Like if I wanted to buy Meta, I like it right here. Like this is where I would buy. Like you see it, right? You see it.
Oh yeah.
You already had it drawn.
You have the breakout there. You have the retest, and then we came right back to the former breakout area. The only thing that could hold Meta back is just tariffs really impacting just the overall sentiment and creating a lot of supply in the market, which would cause Meta to drop. That's the only thing I think that can hold it back. Yeah. You know, just S&P 500 getting sold into. So, you know, you can buy this as like a trade, buy right there, slap your
It would be more like an investment. Like these, I'm not calling this out. Not the way I called out Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, that one's so BRK/B. So Buffett's paying you back for.
Yeah, tell him when I called it out on the victories. All you had to do is watch the victory talk, take the fucking trades we say. But tell him when I called it out.
Yeah, right down here when it was at about $454 per share, it did consult. Boom. Stock is up about 20% while the market has been down.
Come on, man.
Alpha. Its alpha is more than 20%. It's more like 25, 26%. So it's outperforming the benchmark. You know what's not outperforming the benchmark is ARK, down 14% year to date. That's not a value play. No. You know, these robotics companies that Cathie Wood is investing into, they need a really bullish market to be able to get going. This is the BOTS ETF, robotics and artificial intelligence. I think robotics is the future, but the technical chart is not confirming it just yet. That's what I have to say about that. Those are the main things that I wanted to cover. Let me know if you have any stocks or questions.
I got one more. I just got one. MELI.
Melly, Mercado Libre. Let's check it out. So Mercado Libre, we've got a false breakout here. Do you see it? Top breakout, tries to hold it. It does hold it for like a day, sells off, kind of goofily, comes back up. I would lean neutral / bearish. The volume is just kind of meh.
Yeah.
I would just expect like a choppy mess over here.
Okay. All right.
That's the forecast. Anything can change though, of course, if we get some bullish news catalysts, if the jobs report is really bullish and we added a ton of new jobs, if unemployment is low, if we get a short squeeze in the market, this will just rally with the rest of the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got, man. That's all I got. Guys, if you want to learn more about this, join the free Discord, Victory Unit, right? Greg's in there giving out free stock and tips. Also, I got free courses in there. And if you want to trade with us, get Greg's trade alert straight to your phone and trade the market with us every morning. Then hit up Greg in there. Say, yo, Greg, Young Candlestick.
What's up?
I need I want to join Victory Trades. You can trade with us, man. We have a good time. Be a lot of us in there in the morning trading, making money, and we trading live. Like trading live. Greg showing his screen. Only one of us can show our screens at a time. So Greg shows the screen because he's the man, right? But I'll be posting my wins and shit and alerting the NQ trades. Only the NASDAQ Q future trades that I'm taking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I share my screen. I share my account. I show probably too much, actually.
But it's all good, man. So cool, man. Thank you, Greg. Let's get it. Hey, man, I think we got some super chats.
We do. We have Leo. Leo's back. Let me know when to assemble the ninja team. We getting that Monarch money.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna keep you posted, Leo. You hear that, Monarch? You hear that? I got goons now. All right, what else we got?
We have Roman. I hurt my back working out, going hard, bad form. Can't work out no more without what?
Yeah.
Going down my legs, I feel hopeless. Wanted to know what you will do if you wear my shoes. I work as security. This shit got no periods, no questions,
no punctuations, man.
No nothing. Oh my
sometimes,
God.
Sometimes this wasn't as bad as because sometimes I see comments and it's like I gotta decode the shit, It's like the Riddler is talking to me, you know what I'm saying? I gotta figure this shit out. This one is
Roman's question is, what would you do if you was in his shoes if you got hurt working out because of a bad form?
Boy, this is the thing. That's the main reason people get injured in the gym, man. So it's called a FTD, a form related disease, right? Like he hurt himself with bad form, man. That's why I'm so strict with the form, especially as I get older. What I've always done? This may not be good best advice. So okay, here's the real advice. This is what see a fucking sports therapist and do what they say. Right? That's the real advice. What I did every time I was injured is I just work around it, right? Like I've had injuries and I just find, not every exercise would hurt, and I would just do the exercise that didn't hurt it until that injury was better. I pulled my bicep a long time ago and I was doing that thing, the human flag where you hold yourself sideways. I'm really strong and I pulled my bicep and it hurt for fucking years. And it was like just some exercises I couldn't do. I could still work my bicep, just not with every exercise. I just did the exercise that didn't hurt. Right. Until I got some fucking stem cells injected into that shit, like 20 grand worth of stem cells. And then I'd be forgetting that I even heard it. That shit works. Was that shit like baby blood? I don't know what stem cells come from. Right. But that shit works. I was fucking with it. And but yeah, you should. But if that's not an option, like if every exercise hurts, you definitely need to see a sports therapist because sometimes that shit just don't go away on its own, right? So you need to get some help with that, unless you can work around it. What else we got?
We have Nav. What meditation do you do?
I just focus on my breath, man. There's a book you should. I have a lot of videos on meditation, and that you should check out on my page. But it's my meditation mentor is this chick named Emily. Fuck, I forget Emily's last name. But she has a book called Stress Less, Accomplish More. And that's the best book on meditation, right? That's the best. Or you can just watch the videos that I do. But basically, what I really do is just focus on my breath, and when I lose focus, I bring it back to my breath. And you will lose focus all the time. And meditation is like super powerful, man. Over the last, there's a Harvard University study showing that after just it was 8 weeks of meditation, the part of your brain called the amygdala, this is the part of your brain that causes you to spaz out. This is where negative emotions come from. It shrunk, right? And then Emily Fletcher, that's the thing. Thanks, Mac. Emily Fletcher, Stress Less, Accomplish More. And there was another study from Harvard that showed that after, I forget how long it was, but it showed that people who meditate regularly, the density of their frontal lobe, right? Neocortex is the part part of your brain where logic comes from. It becomes denser, right? So it actually study shows that it changes your brain, makes you more logical and less of a fucking spaz, right? And you're gonna need that, in life. It's very helpful. But check out Emily's book. It's the best book on this topic. Another book that's okay is 10% Happier by this dude named Dan Harris. Not Sam Harris. He has a lot of meditation books, but I hate his books. I hate his writing. He's a good guy. I'm sure it's good information. I just hate the way he writes. Whatever. Dan Harris, 10% Happier. It's good. Emily's book is the best. What else we got?
We have John. What's your view on alcohol and whether it can fit in a high performance life?
Listen, I stopped drinking over 10 years ago. I don't drink at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink. A lot of my friends don't drink. And I live in Miami. Like a lot of my, is known for partying and shit, but like a lot of my friends don't drink. And it's I know people who are rich who drink from time to time, who have a drink every once in a while. I think you should just ask yourself, are you trying to be the best you can be, or are you trying to see how much you can get away with? Or just ask yourself that question. And then ask yourself, well, when you have the answer, where does alcohol fit in that? I can't tell you what to do. But when I ask myself that question, I'll say, yeah, no, I'm trying to be the best I can be. I'm not trying to see how much I can get away with. Right. And then you know what? I remember when I quit drinking, I was talking to myself. I was having a conversation with myself. Right. It was like, I imagined a version of myself that accomplished all my goals and dreams. This was like 10 years ago. And I was talking to this nigga and I was like, yo, he said to me, hey man, how much of your potential do you want to bring to the surface, bro? And I was like, 100%. He's like, yeah, you mean that? And I was like, yeah, man. And he said, you know what that means, right? And I was like, yeah, I know what that means. And that's when I quit all recreational drugs and quit all alcohol. It was like at that moment, But, that's me, though. I can't tell you what to do with your life. You just ask yourself those questions, right? Really, just ask yourself, are you trying to be the best you can be, or are you trying to see how much you can get away with? And then whatever your answer is, there's no wrong answer. Then ask yourself, where does alcohol and recreational drugs fit? But these are questions you have to ask yourself. It's not for me to tell you what to do. All right. However, there is a study that came out. It was a big, huge meta study, decades, and it was the New England Journal of Health, where they said they came to the conclusion there is no safe level of alcohol for brain health. Right? Do you believe in science or not? All right, what else?
We have Mr. Out of Context. Yo, BBC, what's your top 5 supplements?
Oh man, number 1, we gotta put caffeine on it. We got to put caffeine high on the list. That's my shit. That's the closest thing to a recreational drug I'd say. I take caffeine recreationally. I really enjoy it. Caffeine, but it also it's a performance enhancing. In fact, if you take too much caffeine when they do your drug test in the Olympics, you get disqualified. That's how you know it works. When they put a fucking cap on how much you could take. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know, because it's actually a performance enhancement. And it does help you burn fat because it decreases appetite and gives you energy, right? So you're eating less and moving more, right? And it also increases something called lipolysis. So fat loss is a two-part process. There's oxidation and lipolysis. Lipolysis is when the fat cells broken down into fatty acids. Oxidation is when you use those fatty acids for energy, right? So studies show that caffeine can actually increase lipolysis, which is the first half of fat burning, right? So it's a potent performance enhancement. So caffeine is number one. Creatine is number two. I think everybody should take creatine. Like even if you're not working out, you should take creatine. There's this. I read some new studies that show that creatine actually helps with brain health. It helps with memory. It improves mood. It's like super healthy. Even if you don't work out, you should take creatine every day. Every day. Every human should be taking creatine. You know, I asked one of my boys, Ben Pikowski. He was in the Olympia, big pro bodybuilder, good friend of mine. And I remember when my son was in the fucking womb, I was joking with Ben. I said, so how soon should I put the kid on creatine? I thought I was just joking. He said, day one. Right. And he started breaking down. He was serious. He started breaking down how healthy creatine was. Right. But yo, it really is good for you, man. I don't know if I'm gonna give it to babies. I did not give it to my baby. But yeah, creatine. Everyone should be taking creatine. All right. Then some sort of protein supplement, because you can get enough protein from food for sure. But the advantage of protein is twofold. One is convenience, coupled with the calorie to protein ratio, right? Sometimes it's difficult to actually digest as much fucking protein from meat and animal sources or even plant sources or whatever, right? But if you get a protein shake or bar, one is convenient. It's more convenient than eating a fucking steak, right? Because I don't always got that fucking time to eat a steak. It's cheaper, and it's the protein to calorie ratio. So if you're cutting, like, protein shakes would be your best friend, because when I cut, I increase the protein to retain as much muscle mass as possible. Right. So protein to be number two, number three. And then yeah. I mean, I don't even know if let's just go with three, man. Like everything else is just fucking extra. Those are the main three, man. I don't know if you need five. You got those three, man, you in good shape. Everything else is kind of just like icing on the cake. All right. What else we got?
We have David. Passed my insurance exam, now going to sales. Thanks for motivating me, King Keto. Any advice on how to use social media for leads and marketing?
Yo, it's funny you mentioned that, man, because we, pretty soon we're going to be reopening our Influencer Domination Accelerator program. People have been getting crazy results, like, because that's why I teach people how to grow their social media for the purpose of making money, right? We're not out here fucking doing it. We're not high school girls doing this shit for fucking popularity. We're trying to get this fucking cash, right? And people are getting crazy results. Like, guys are like, a few guys have took what we learned and went viral. Like, motherfuckers have got their first videos, they hit over 100K. First reels, they get over 100K, and they're getting leads and clients as a result as well. So we're gonna open that up. Some quick shit you need to know is you need to figure out who your target market is. That's the most important thing. Figure out who your target market and only focus on them, and then make content that would help them accomplish whatever their goals are. Right, but their goals may be different than what you think, right? For example, in the fitness industry, like, we want to, we're not selling diet and exercise. We're selling what that's going to do for them. And when you pick a different target market, it's going to be they're going to have a different why. So if you're selling to old people, they probably want energy. They probably want relief from pain and longevity. If you're selling to young people, they probably want to it's probably more vanity based, right? They probably want to look better so they can get fucking, get some ass or something, right? Like this is different. The whys change based off the demographics. So you need to know exactly who you're marketing with and what their why is, and then help them get that, make content to help them get that. But we go way more depth into that shit in the program. We'll just stay tuned. We'll let you know when that launch. And congratulations on your success so far, bro.
We have John. As a man who's been fully sober for many years, how would you find it's affected your quality of experiences, having good times versus when you drank?
There's no downside. Right. I'm never hungover. I'm never up too late. Like I have a good time, but I can still the next day I'm still in good shape. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel bad. I don't do nothing I regret. I don't say nothing I regret. I don't behave in no weird ways. And there's really no doubt. It's been all upside for me, honestly. I don't even miss it at all. So it's just been all upside for me. The only thing that was different is like when I was single, it may be like a little more difficult, not difficult, but like it changes the way you fucking, have sex, right? Because girls don't typically want to drink alone if you're not drinking. Some will, what I'm saying? But it's just she's gonna actually like you. Instead of she just got so drunk, right? So that may change some of y'all's mating strategies. But that's about it. You know what I'm saying? All right. I got something else I want to cover. Do we have enough time? All right, hold on. Let me see something real quick. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna give y'all the habits of millionaires. Pay attention, get your notebooks out, because in this video, I am going to be breaking down the 12 habits of millionaires. These are the habits that help make me a multimillionaire. And I have a lot of fucking super rich friends. Me and the homies, we be courtside at the Heat games. We balling, shot calling. My friends own yachts and shit. Fucking all my friends got a supercar. All right, I got a lot of rich friends. And here are the 12 habits that I've observed that they all have in common, right? And the last habit is the most important. Without the last one, it's going to be difficult to succeed, even if you do everything right. Right. The first one is time management. So my boy Jeremy, he's super rich, right? He just bought a new McLaren, but he already has a fucking a Rolls Royce and a fucking Porsche and Range Rover. He's super rich. I have a big penthouse apartment. His balcony on his penthouse is bigger than my whole condo, right? He's super rich, right? We be courtside. Okay, it's not bigger; it's the same size. I ain't that broke, right? But it's a huge balcony. It might be the biggest balcony in Miami. Honestly, it might be the biggest balcony in Miami, and in a condo. And sometimes I'll hit him up like, yo, let's take the girls to dinner. Like his girl, me, him, and our girlfriends will go to dinner. And he'll be like, yo, what time? Right. And then I'll say a time, boom. Next thing you know, he sends me a Google Calendar invite. Right. This is fucking normal at the high levels. At the high levels, this is super normal. Right. Time management. Pretty much every multimillionaire I know is really manages their time well. They live out of their calendar, right? For me, how that work for me is I plan every hour of every day in my calendar. Plan out every hour. I leave as little white space as possible, right? And this way the day is choreographed. As a result, if you start doing this, what's going to happen is you'll start to notice you get way more done in a day than you used to get, right? And if you start doing that over weeks and weeks, if you do that for 90 days, I promise you'll make more progress in those 90 days than you did the whole year before when you were just freestyling every day, right? But you understand this is what it's like at the high levels, right? People are serious about their calendars, right? And they're serious about their time management. I have a whole nother video on time management you could check out if you need to, right? Another thing. The next habit is relentless positivity, right? So basically, what I noticed with all my rich friends is they may, no matter what's happened, they try to find, no matter what's going on, they look for a way to make money off it. Right? We kind of see the world through that lens. There's got to be a way we can make money off this, right? So when COVID hit, my homie Moneyberg, he's probably one of my richest friends, right? When COVID hit, he immediately was telling me, all right, listen, this is what's happening. We're going to start shorting the market. And he was looking for money-making opportunities. He made a few million the first week of COVID when shit started shutting down. Then he bought even more stocks and he found ways to make money off it. So no matter how bad shit is, they're always looking at the positive ways, as a way to benefit from it. They never get too down or depressed. They're always looking at almost like the bright side. And what happens is, if you're looking for ways a situation can benefit you, you'll find it. If you're focusing on how bad things is, right, you'll notice more of that. It's kind of like when you or one of your friends gets a new car, you start seeing that car everywhere, right? You're not an X-Man. You didn't attract that shit. You ain't Professor Xavier, right? That car was already there. You just didn't notice it because you wasn't looking for it anymore. It wasn't in your attention. It's the same thing with positivity, right? If you're looking for the positive, if you're looking for ways to get money, you'll find them. They're there, right? But if you're looking at, complaining about how bad shit is, then you'll find that too, right? And what I notice is all my rich friends, we all think like that. And if somebody's negative, they're just not really in our circle. You get what I'm saying? They're just not in our circle. And I wouldn't want them in our circle, because if my friend gets a new car and I start seeing that car everywhere, right? What happens if he's always bringing me his fucking problems and shit? What am I going to see? I'm going to see problems as well, right? But if he's always talking about how to get some money, I'm going to see that too, just like the car, right? Relentless positivity, all right? The next step, the next key, all my millionaires friends, is they live below their means. Now, my friends are balling. Motherfuckers got yachts, boats. Some of them got planes. My homie Eric Spofford got a fucking plane, right? It's but he didn't. While he was getting money, he wasn't fucking wasting it on luxuries, right? He bought his plane after he sold his company for over $100 million. Right? He's built a big company, sold it for $100 million. Then he bought the plane and the yacht and shit. Right? So you want to live below your means and keep investing that money into either your business or real estate or stocks. And then you start flexing off the dividends. You start flexing off the money you get from the assets. Right? That's the key to getting rich. So you got to make more money you spend, invest the difference. And then you flex with the money that the investments are making, right? It's kind of like the money that you work to make, that's like a seed. You plant that in the ground, right? Instead of eating the fucking seed, you plant that seed in the ground. And then when it grows into a tree, starts bearing fruits, then you eat the fruits, right? So they all live below their means and they flex with money that comes from the assets, right? Even me, like if you watch me on YouTube over the last fucking 14 years I've been on YouTube, I was not flexing. I was wearing a fucking Apple Watch and fucking some regular shit, no shirt for years, for like almost for a long time. And it wasn't until my money from my assets started making enough money for the luxuries. Then I started buying APs, Richard Milles, diamond chains, and all that other shit. You know, that's when I started upgrading my lifestyle. I moved to Miami, big fucking penthouse condo, all that shit. But before that, living below my means, investing the money, right? Right. And the other thing to do that is track spending, right? All my rich friends take their accounting seriously. They don't fuck around with it. They know how much they're spending. They know how much they even have a budget. Even the ones that look like they're fucking flexing, right? They have a budget. They have a budget for flexing, and they track their spending. They know exactly how much is coming out, especially in their business. If they're rich, then they're really tracking the money in their business too, right? So most of us do the accounting for our business. We might have an accountant verified or CPA, right? But we're handling the day-to-day, moving the money around and managing it, right? So you got to track your spending, know your accounting, and know your numbers. You have to know your numbers. You have to know your numbers. If you ever watch Shark Tank, and they after they do their wacky presentation, they tell some bad jokes, right? The shit don't really start till Mr. Wonderful says, yeah, but tell us about the numbers. How much money you making, right? How much, what's your cost? What's your cost for acquiring a customer, right? What are your margins, right? And if they don't, you ever watch Shark Tank and they don't know their numbers, know that motherfucker's not getting the deal. They're going to get laughed out the Shark Tank, right? Or if the numbers are bad, you got to know your numbers. Track your spending, do the accounting. You got to know your numbers. You got to know your numbers, all right? Next thing you do is investing. All my rich friends invest. They're either constantly investing in their business or they're buying fucking stocks, real estate, and or crypto, right? And we talk about investing. We talk about investing. We're giving each other investment tips, advice. You know, it's because the investments is what's going to pay for the luxuries, right? So they're serious about their investment. You got to learn how to invest, right? You got to be serious about it. All right. The next habit that all my rich friends do is they delegate. They delegate. And, you know, my boy, Dan Martell, he's one of my other super rich friends. He's become a pretty popular YouTuber over the last year or two. When I met him, he had like fucking 10,000 YouTube subscribers. Now he's got like close to 1 million or so. Right. But anyway, he wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time. And he was saying the same shit that people made fun of me for saying. It was like, yo, man, I don't fucking cook. I don't clean. I don't do all that other shit. Even when I was broke, I would delegate that shit and pay other people to do it because they bought me what? Time. And with that time, I was, you know, time's your most important resource. So me personally, I want to spend all my time making money or hanging out with my friends and family. Those are the only two things I really want to do: make money and hang out with my friends and family. Right. So I need to buy my time, and you need to delegate that shit. So, you know, boom, housekeeper, fucking team immigrants comes and clean the house every week. You know what I'm saying? Fucking balcony cleaners come clean the balconies. We got 4 balconies. They clean the windows, you know? Like I take it to another level. I don't even book my own flights. I got assistants to do that shit. They know what to do. But even when I was just first starting out, I would go on when I was working a lot and I needed more time to work. I looked at how much money I was making, and I looked at how much it cost to get somebody off TaskRabbit to clean my house. I was like, if I spend that time working, let's say I typically make $100 an hour, right? And I pay somebody $50 to pay my house. To clean my house. If I pay somebody $50 to clean my house, right? That means the net profit, if I work during that hour instead of clean, I make $50. You get what I'm saying? I make $50. Some if you're cheap, you'll be like, oh, I'll just do it myself. I'm not gonna pay someone to do it, right? But you don't save $50 under those circumstances. You lose $50 because you could have worked and made $100 and you would have had a net profit of $50. So it's really just mad. That's why it's important to know your numbers so you know what to delegate, right? The first videos I made on YouTube, I edited the first 1,000 videos, but it was time consuming. And even though I started to enjoy it, I still hired, the first person I hired was Harry. He's my first hire because I wanted to buy back that time. Even though I enjoyed it, I was like, man, I can make more money if I spend my time doing something else. And Harry edited the videos. Now we have Harry and Nima full-time editors, and they have teams and shit, right? But you buy back the time, and I can spend the time doing it, and I make more money as a result, even though I have to pay them a lot of money. You got to be able to delegate. All right. Another thing, the next habit of all my millionaire friends is they have multiple streams of income, right? I know. Now, here's the caveat. I know you heard that most millionaires have like 7 streams of income or some shit like that. Here's the thing. They got rich with one. They made most of the money with one stream of income, and then they started to diversify, right? When I was starting my business, I wasn't fucking investing in crypto and stocks and real estate and all this other shit simultaneously, because business is hard. 80% of businesses fail. Less than 5% of businesses make it to $1 million mark, like $1 million a year, right? So it took everything to make my first $1 million in business. I didn't have the bandwidth, the energy, or time to diversify my mental or financial resources. I needed to go, because statistically, starting a successful business is one of the most difficult things in the world, right? It's one of the most difficult things in the world. Only 7% of the population are millionaires, right? So statistically, the odds are not in your favor. So I had to devote everything to it. All right. And but once I started getting some money, then I started diversifying my income and investing in other things, right? So you have multiple streams of income, but it's after you get your money on one, right? My first one was my online fitness business. That was my first business that I made $1 million with. Now I teach other people how to start their online fitness business. If you want to learn more about that, I got a free ebook called The 10 Commandments of Online Training. You can click the link in the description and download it for free. It'll give you the game plan and see if it's right for you. Because you might read it and be like, oh, this is not right for me. Or you might read it and be like, oh, this is awesome. All right. But at least check out the book. It's free. All right. The next habit of multi-millionaires is long-term planning. All my rich friends, they have like a long-term plan. They're thinking like 5-10 years out with their investments, with their game plan, right? They're not trying to we want to make money as fast as possible, but we're thinking long-term. And when you take long-term decisions, those are almost always better than short-term decisions. And just in life, things that feel good in the short term are usually bad for you long-term, and things that are bad for you long-term, things that feel bad long-term, things that feel good short-term are usually bad for you long-term, and vice versa. For example, if you want eating candy and cakes, it feels great in the moment, right? But long-term is going to have negative ramifications, right? That's just one example. However, eating motherfucking vegetables and shit may suck in the moment, right? Until you acquire the taste for them, right? But long-term is going to be good for your health. Same shit with your financial health, right? Delaying gratification may suck, in short term, but long term is better for you, right? All right. The next habit of all my millionaire friends is networking. Now, here's the caveat. You've all heard that your network is your net. You all heard that your network is your net worth, right? But I think it only matters once you got it popping. Right. A lot of times broke boys be trying to fucking network and like, yo, man, you ain't got shit to offer, broke boy. Fuck you want to network for? Right. You don't want to network. You want to siphon fucking value from motherfuckers who got it popping. Right. Networking is only valuable once you got it popping. And once you have shit popping, then you can actually add value to the people you network with. Now it's mutually advantageous. That's when networking works. Right. If you just out here trying to siphon fucking value from motherfuckers who got it popping, it's not going to work. Right. Because, everybody's going like, why the fuck should they help you or fuck with you? Right. They ain't out here doing charity. Ain't nobody out here doing charity. Right. But if you got something if you got something to offer, right. If you have some value that you can present, then they'll be excited to network with you. You can get it popping on your own. You can get your business or to $100,000 a year on your own, right? And then you can start networking with people on your level. And as you move up, you can start networking with people like slightly above, right? And it's valuable. It is valuable, but it's only valuable after you kind of got it popping. All right. You got to get it popping first. All right. The next step, the next habit that all my rich friends have is they take risks. The next habit all my friends have is they take risk. Right. But here's the thing. They're calculated risks. Right. They're not out here fucking gunslinging, just doing anything. It's calculated risk. Right. But so, for example, I have a formula I use to take risks. First, I think about what's the worst that can happen. And I don't try to sugarcoat it. If anything, I try to make it worse. What's the absolute worst that can happen? What's the worst possible outcome of this? And I think about that. Like, if everything went wrong, what would that look like? This is when I'm thinking about taking a risk. And then I ask myself, can I handle that? Sometimes the answer is no. And I'm like, all right, too big of a risk. I don't want to take it. Right. If the answer is yes, then I'm probably going to take it. Right. But now it's like it may seem like I'm taking big risks, but they're so calculated. Right. I'm like, can I handle it? And then I ask myself a third question. If I decide I can't handle it, what can I do to either prevent the worst that can happen from happening or mitigate its effects if it does happen? Mitigate the negative ramifications that can occur if it did happen. And then I make a plan to do that, right? So I built myself multiple safety nets. You get what I'm saying? And then once I went through that whole process, then I'm confident taking the risk. But I accept the risk too. You got to accept. I'm not there on pins and needles. Like, if the worst happens, I know I'm good. But if I don't know I'm good, I probably won't take the risk. You know what I'm saying? I probably won't take the risk. And so it's calculated. I'm never betting the farm on one fucking thing. You get what I'm saying? And most of my rich friends never do that either, right? And the last and most important step is all my rich friends are always learning. Like, we talk, huh? Yeah, on purpose. All right. Because it's 13. All right. All right. But the last step is the last habit all my rich friends has is they're always learning, right? So when we get together, we're suggesting fucking books and shit for each other. We're putting each other on to different shit. We're joining different masterminds. We're joining different courses. I'm learning from them, or they're learning shit from me. They might ask me, "Oh man, how can I build my social media better?" Or I might ask, I was asking Moneyberg for stock investments. I asked my boy Tom taught me about Section 8 real estate. I started investing in that. Back when I was running my own Facebook ads, I had my boy Jeremy like coaching me and helping me with my ads, right? We learn from each other. But we're also suggesting different books and different courses and different shit for each other as well, right? And it becomes, especially when you have a bunch of high level friends, they become what I call friend tours. They're like your boys, but they probably better than you at something. And we form like Voltron and shit, or like Ninja Turtles, right? Like, like I may be Michelangelo with the nunchucks, right? But Jeremy, he got the motherfucking, he Donatello. You know what I'm saying? Tom, maybe he Raphael or some shit. You get what I'm saying? Eric Spoffer, he might be motherfucking Donatello because he the richest one. You know what I'm saying? Right? But we all value each other, right? And we can learn from each other, and it's dope, right? And we're always learning, but we're always suggesting different books for each other to read, different courses, right? And you need to always be learning too, right? And here's the thing, I first got rich, my first business where I made $1 million was online training. Now I teach other people how to start their online fitness business. If you want to learn how to do it, I got a free ebook, link in the description, called The 10 Commandments of Online Training. And it really give you the game plan to show you what it's like to be an online trainer. It's not a get rich quick scheme. I'm gonna be honest, it's not a get rich quick scheme. All right. If you were looking for that, this ain't it. If you find the get rich quick scheme, please let me know. Because I've been looking for one for 40 years and I ain't found one, right? However, it's a good business for you to start if you love fitness, right? And if you love helping people accomplish your goals, right? Because if you love it, it won't feel like work. Then you can make money doing something you love. And that's why I found it so rewarding. Maybe that's you. Maybe it's not. But if you are interested in all, just download the book, read it for free, and then decide if that's something that's for you or not. You know, maybe it won't be, right? But you should check it out. All right. Links in the description. All right. Holla at y'all. Let's run through these super chats real quick. Then I got to get out of here.
We have Rish 9494. I'm struggling deciding between finishing my tech training 80K to 120K offers or starting a creative business. What is your advice? Is it a mistake to do both like you did when you worked and started your business?
Finish your training. Finish what you start. And like I think you should start a business. You should have a job when you start your business, unless you got a bunch of fucking bread. Right? If you got a bunch of money, then go for it. You know, but if you don't, just start your business on the side, homie. Yeah, but finish what you started, bro. Like finish what you started. See that plan to fruition. All right. Good question though. What else we got?
We have Marco. What's up, Jim? Thank you for providing value regularly. What was the main part of your diet during the time where you were working multiple jobs and you didn't have time to make your girl cook?
You know, man, I was it was back in the day too, right? So, you know, when I would be outside a lot, right? So I would be, you know, I was working at the barbecue restaurant, so I was eating there, or I was damn, it's difficult to remember all this shit. I would, you know, when I was working security, you know, you got a lunch break. So I was in Soho and a lot of fucking places to eat. There was a Dominican restaurant that I used to eat at. You know, I was back, I don't remember the name of it. It was like a cafeteria. I can't remember the name. It was dope though. And I would eat out a lot, you know, honestly, just because the time versus income shit, you know. And that's a habit that I can't stay with me. But there was little shit that I would cook. You know, I learned how to make salmon in the microwave. Go watch my old cooking videos on YouTube from like 10 years ago. What are you saying? Yeah, eating salmon and spinach, the old cooking videos. Yo, man, that salmon in the microwave, that was a fucking cheat code, homie. I eat that shit right now. It was fire. Just put salmon in the microwave 1 minute on a paper plate or some shit. Put it 1 minute. Put the seasoning on before. Yo, that shit, it actually comes out good. I'm telling you. Watch the video. You can see my old cooking videos if you want to see what I was making. You know what I'm saying? With the Laurie seasoning, I was putting the Laurie's. Real niggas know. You know, all right, listen, guys. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Except for this Thursday, we're going to do it at 5 because I'm going to a Heat game. All right. We're getting that time is basketball season where I start giving a fuck about it. All right. So I'm going to the Heat game Thursday. So we start the podcast at 5. All right. So pull up. All right. Tell Greg too, please. All right. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.